San Francisco, California, 2017. A man stands at the edge of a penthouse balcony overlooking the entire bay. He is 28 years old. His family controls a multi-generational fortune worth $3 billion. He has never worked a job where failure meant missing rent. He has never experienced hunger that lasted more than the time it took to call room service. And right now, he is about to walk away from all of it. Not because he hates wealth. Not because he wants to prove something to his father. Not because he is running from scandal or guilt. But because he needs to know if the person he believes himself to be can exist without the infrastructure that has surrounded him since birth. You are watching him remove his watch. It is worth $42,000. He places it on the marble counter. He empties his wallet. Credit cards, identification, $600 in cash. He leaves it all behind. He strips down to one set of clothes: jeans, a t-shirt, a jacket, one pair of socks, one pair of shoes. No backpack, no supplies, no phone, no initial food. He is engineering a controlled collision between his identity and absolute scarcity to discover which one is real. The experiment begins the moment he walks out the door. His first night is spent under a highway overpass in the south of Market District. He sleeps on flattened cardboard boxes he found behind a liquor store. The ground is cold. The noise is constant. Trucks pass overhead every 90 seconds. He does not sleep for more than 20 minutes at a time. This is the same man who 72 hours earlier was negotiating a $12 million acquisition in a conference room with floor-to-ceiling windows. The contrast is not accidental. It is the entire point. By morning, he is hungry. He has never been this kind of hungry. The hunger that comes with not knowing when the next meal will arrive. He walks 4 blocks to a bakery and waits until the staff takes out the trash. Inside the dumpster, he finds half a baguette, still wrapped in paper. It is his first meal. The taste is not the point. The point is the knowledge now living in his body that he can do this, that the line between comfort and survival is thinner than he ever believed. Over the next 3 days, he learns the architecture of invisibility. When you look homeless, people do not see you. They look through you. The social status he has relied on his entire life evaporates. He is no longer someone's son. He is no longer an investor or a name on a building. He is a body on a sidewalk. And that body needs calories. He begins calculating every action against the energy it costs. Walking 6 blocks to check a potential day labor site burns roughly 120 calories. If the site has no work, he has just traded energy for nothing. His old life was ruled by the fear of market downturns and competitive threats. His new life is ruled by the fear of rain. A rainstorm means his only set of clothes will be soaked. Wet clothes mean cold. Cold means burning more calories to stay warm. Calories he does not have. He learns that luxury is not a car or a watch. Luxury is putting on a dry pair of socks after walking in wet shoes for 9 hours. The dopamine hit from that sensation is stronger than anything he ever felt closing a business deal. Without a phone, his brain is forced to rebuild skills it outsourced years ago. He navigates by landmarks. He tells time by watching the angle of the sun. He memorizes the locations of public restrooms, water fountains, and warm air vents. The city stops being a place he moves through and becomes a resource map he must read to survive. He discovers that public libraries are the most valuable real estate in the city. They offer warmth, safety, bathrooms, water, and information. He spends hours in the main branch on Larkin Street, using their computers to research day labor sites and planning his next 72 hours in a physical notebook. The notebook is critical. Without the constant dopamine drip of notifications and app switching, his ability to focus returns. He writes down every lesson, every failure, every small win. He begins asking for work. Not vague requests for help, but specific offers. 1 hour of sweeping your sidewalk for a sandwich. 2 hours of moving boxes for $10. The specificity changes the dynamic. People can picture the transaction. They can see the value. He is told no 417 times in the first 2 weeks. Each rejection builds a callus. The fear of hearing no, the fear that controlled so much of his decision-making in his old life, becomes irrelevant. By week 3, he has learned the formula. Demonstrate value first, negotiate payment second. He starts tasks before asking for compensation. He sweeps the front of a corner store without being asked, then offers to come back tomorrow for the same rate the owner pays his current cleaner. The strategy works. He begins getting repeat work. Small amounts, $5 here, $8 there. Enough to buy food that is not from a dumpster. Enough to prove the mechanism. He realizes the mental process he is using is identical to the one he used in business. Identify a need, offer a solution, deliver value. Iterates based on feedback. The difference is the stakes. In business, failure meant a lost deal. Here, failure means sleeping hungry. The urgency sharpens everything. He sets rules he will not break. He will not steal. He will not lie about his skills. He will not manipulate people by pretending to be more desperate than he is. Hunger is not permission to abandon character. Identity is the thing being tested. If he compromises it to survive, the entire experiment is void. He finds that the things he feared most about poverty are not the hardest parts. The hardest part is the exhaustion. Physical exhaustion from walking 12 miles a day. Mental exhaustion from constant problem solving with no margin for error. Emotional exhaustion from being invisible. He learns that hygiene is currency. Strangers will not offer work or trust to someone who smells or looks visibly dirty. A public bathroom sink becomes more valuable than a bank account. He washes his one shirt in the sink every 3 days, wears his jacket while it dries, then repeats. Clean hands and a clean face are the minimum threshold for opportunity. By week 6, he has enough money saved to buy a second shirt and a pair of socks from a thrift store. The relief is physical. He no longer has to choose between washing his clothes and having something to wear. This is the moment he understands the comfort trap. Extreme comfort does not build resilience. It atrophies the psychological muscles required for motivation. Deprivation is a gym. Every day without comfort is a training session. The skill he is building is the ability to function when there is no external reward structure, no safety net, no guarantee of success. He is learning to generate motivation from internal scorecards instead of external validation. After 8 weeks, he takes a day labor job at a construction site. He works 10 hours moving lumber. His hands blister and bleed. He earns $75. It is the most satisfying $75 he has ever made because it represents pure value exchange. No family name, no network, no inherited advantage. Just his body and his willingness to work. That night, he sleeps in a shelter for the first time. He has avoided shelters because he wanted to test the absolute floor. But tonight, he wants a bed. He wants a roof. He has earned the right to choose comfort as a recovery tool rather than a necessity. The distinction matters. Comfort is no longer something he needs. It is something he uses strategically to sustain high output. By week 12, he is working 3 regular day labor gigs. He has $218 saved. He has rebuilt the ability to create value from zero. And he knows, in a way that is cellular and permanent, that he can survive. The knowledge is not theoretical. It is visceral. It lives in his body. It has changed his relationship with fear forever. He decides the experiment is complete, not because he has suffered enough, but because he has proven the hypothesis. The mechanism that creates wealth is not in the money. It is in the trained relationship between identity and scarcity. The architecture of offering value, iterating, and delivering is identical whether you are building a startup or surviving on the street.
The only difference is the resources you start with. He contacts his family. He returns to his old life. But he is not the same person. He views every comfort as a tool, not a goal. He measures his days by value created and promises kept, not by dollars accumulated. He knows that the identity he tested is real because it survived the collision with zero. Here is the question he still asks himself. If the wealth disappeared tomorrow, If the family fortune evaporated and the infrastructure collapsed, would the person he is today be able to rebuild from nothing? He believes the answer is yes. He has the proof. But the deeper question is whether the experiment itself is what made that true, or whether the capacity was always there, waiting to be discovered. Maybe the only way to know if you can survive is to strip everything away and find out. Maybe comfort is not the enemy of discipline, but untested comfort is. Maybe the real wealth is not what you have, but what you know you can build when.
You have nothing. Who really won? The man who proved he could survive without wealth, or the wealth that gave him the safety to run the experiment in the first place? Maybe both. Maybe neither. Maybe the answer is that identity is only real when it has been tested against actual scarcity, and everything else is just a story you tell yourself while the infrastructure holds.